Hey everybody, it's Miss Steely here, and today I'm going to talk to you about the 7th week, and we're going to look specifically at our penny boat experiment, page 1, 2, and 3. This is going to be for our science grade, and we're going to do a fun little experiment, and as long as you attempt to do the project, you're probably going to do just fine, so I don't want you worrying over this project. You only need a few simple things for this project, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. So to do your science, your penny boats, you're going to have a paper that looks like this. It's going to have your materials listed at the top, and it's going to say objective. Our objective for this project is to build a strong boat using only tinfoil that will hold the most pennies in the class. Okay? We're not going to be able to do this with our class, unfortunately, but we are going to do a little bit of a variation to this. So I'm going to need you to have your pencil or pen handy. Miss Steely's going to have you change a few things in the packet so that it will make a little more sense to you for doing this at home. So we're going to build a penny boat. We have to come up with a problem, and I'm going to help you write that in just a moment. We have to come up with a hypothesis or a guess to answer your problem. We're going to list our materials. We're going to have our procedure, and there will be a few changes to our procedure. We're going to tell about some things that worked and things that did not work. We're going to record how many pennies our boats held. We're going to draw a picture of our boat, and we're going to write a conclusion, and we're going to answer a few questions. So that's all we're going to do, and the fun part of this is we're going to get to do a fun little experiment. So first things first, a foil boat. What kind of materials do you think we're going to use? I'm going to jump to materials because I want to talk about some of these things as we go. So if you remember, up here in this corner, it listed two of our materials. Tinfoil and pennies. Those are two things you're going to need, and we're going to go ahead and get those down on our list. So tinfoil, oops, and I keep getting out of my screen here. We need pennies. The other thing we're going to need as we're working is going to be a container. So for the purposes of this experiment, Miss Steely has a container, and there's water in this container. So those are two more materials we're going to need to add to our list. So you're going to need a container. And it's going to be filled with water. Okay. Now, there's a few other things you're going to need, and I'm going to put them over here. You're going to need your pencil for some notes. You're going to need you may want this, you don't always have to have this, but if you have a mom or dad who has a cell phone or even a camera, you may need a camera and a photographer. I'm going to encourage you that if you do attempt this, that you do post a picture on Facebook of your experiment and just to share with your classmates. So this is all good and fun. It's not a requirement, but we've missed seeing you guys, and not everybody gets on Zoom every time. So if you have an opportunity to get a camera out and post a picture on Facebook, we'd love to see you doing this experiment. Alright, so now that we have a few of our materials listed, let's go back up to our objective. We're going to build a strong boat using only tinfoil that will hold the most pennies in the class. So, a tinfoil boat, what does that mean? Well, first things first. You're going to need to get mom or dad to get in the closet or the pantry and pull out some tinfoil. Now, I happen to have nonstick tinfoil. It doesn't matter what kind. It can be cheap ones, it can be grill ones, it can be whatever you have. The foil really doesn't matter. And you're going to get two pieces. So I want you to get two pieces of foil, both the same size. Now, our problem. What is the question we're going to answer in performing this lab? Okay, So we're going to have to hold pennies in our boat. So the question that we need to probably ask ourselves is, how many pennies will my foil boat hold? Okay? Everybody's boat's going to hold a different number of pennies, and there's a lot of reasons why. So, our goal is to see if we can make a boat that holds a lot of pennies. So, we need to come up with a hypothesis. So that means we're going to make a guess about how many pennies do you think your boat will hold. So, now, I have no idea how many pennies my boat is going to hold, but I'm going to make a guess. So I'm going to pick 25. So my sentence is going to be, I hypothesize my boat will hold 25 pennies. You can pick a bigger number or a smaller number. Let's say 25 pennies. Now this number is going to be different for everybody. Before sinking. Oop, there's missed my eye. Alright, let me turn that around so you can see it a little bit better. Alright, so how many pennies will my foil boat hold? I hypothesize, or I guess, the important word in our sentence. Remember, we're still circling our important words. Important guess is my foil boat will hold 25 pennies before sinking. And now I have all my materials. So once you have all your materials, you're ready to get started. So here's where I need to make a few little changes to your paper. So because we can't do this as a class, and it's not going to be your teacher doing this, there are a few things I want you to fix on this. For starters, you're going to need 2 pieces of tin foil, and they're going to come from a parent or whoever's there helping you. If you have an older brother or sister, that works just as well. So, and we're going to be using alright, so for number 2, you need to add using 1 piece of foil. You're actually going to make 2 boats. So your first boat, we're going to see how many pennies that holds. Then you're going to change your idea, and you're going to make a second boat and see if your second boat holds more pennies than the first boat. And when you make different designs, you're going to learn a few things about how boats work. So, number 3, test your boat in a bucket of water and count the number of pennies it holds. Number 4, make modifications to your boat. This is, I want you to scratch this part out because we're not going to be in class to be able to do this project. I want you to have as much time as you need to build your boat. You don't have to do it in 10 minutes or less. Certainly if you want to and Mom and Dad want to set a timer, you can do that. But for Miss Steely and Miss Killingsworth, we don't need you to set a timer. So, number 5, test boats as a group, placing pennies until it heats the water. We're going to have to change your directions for number 5. We're going to change our directions to, and I don't know if I can get this in here and talk and be on camera at the same time, guys. Alright, so we're going to test boat number 2 instead. So, you've already built, for number 2, you've done boat number 1 using 1 piece of foil. Test boat number 2 with second piece of foil. Okay? You're going to write down your observations. What do you see when you are performing the lab leads you to answer the questions. Alright, so what worked? What strategies that worked? So anything that worked, you're going to put in this box. Maybe it's the shape of your boat. Maybe it's the type of foil you used. Maybe it is... I don't want to give away too many hints. There's lots of things that it could be. So whatever you feel worked right here, maybe it's how you placed your pennies in the boat. So whatever worked, you need to put right here, what worked. And this is what didn't work. Okay, strategies that did not work, so we changed it by. So maybe you took 10 pennies at one time and set them on your boat, and putting 10 pennies on at one time was too much. But maybe if you took those pennies and set them down one by one, you would find that the weight wasn't too much and where you placed it was better. So I want you to think about what you did during each phase of the science project. So, down here, I put one boat. Remember, you're building two different boats. So one boat held how many pennies? Your winning boat held how many pennies? And why did your winning boat win? Do you think? Remember, there is no right or wrong answer, but make sure you complete this sentence, so you should have punctuation at the end, and make sure it's a good sentence for our project. Right here you should draw a picture. You can draw a picture of boat number 1 and boat number 2, or you can just draw a picture of your winning boat, but we would like to see that you thought about your boat and drew the picture right here. Conclusions. What did you find out when you completed this lab? Look back at your problem and write a complete sentence. So, do you think your hypothesis was correct? Do you think that you made a really good guess? Or was your guess way off? Do you think that if you had a third piece of foil, you could do even better? Guess what? That's what scientists do. They fail a lot so that they can continue to grow a lot. So, it's okay to be a scientist and only get a few pennies on your boat this time around. But I'd like you to try. And if you feel inspired to do a third boat, ask Mom or Dad for permission for more foil. And by all means, you can draw a third picture of a third boat if you'd like to. So down here, there was a few typos in this paper. So we do need to fix a few things. So down here it says tower. We need to change this word to boat. What was your original strategy to build your boat? So, was your strategy to make it flat? And big? Was your strategy to make it little so that more foil would hold up more pennies? What strategy did you have? What technique did you use that you thought was just going to be that winning boat? Number 2. Did you have any problems with your original strategy? Your original boat may or may not have worked. And if there was a problem with your first boat, I would like you to try to explain to me what you thought the problem was. Was your boat too big? Was your boat too flimsy? Was your boat too small? So try to tell me what you thought the boat problem was. Number 3, we're going to have to change this question quite a bit. So I want you to go ahead and scratch out number 3. And the question I want you to answer is this one. Comparing your two boats Why did one work better than the other? Okay, so you have a new question here, and that's because there was a typo, and I think this question would be a little more appropriate for what we need to do. Again, you're only writing one sentence. Remember capitalization and punctuation, 5 to 7 words. You guys should have this memorized by now. So here we go. I'm going to show you a little bit, but I don't want to give everything away. So I'm going to start by getting my materials ready. So I've got my foil, and I've got my water. Hope you can see that okay. And I've got some pennies here. Hopefully you can see my pennies. Okay. So now I said I thought maybe 25 pennies, and we're going to do, so maybe I'm going to start by folding my foil. And guys, there's no right or wrong way to do this project, but this is supposed to be for fun, and you can have mom or dad or brothers or sisters help. That's okay. So for the purpose of this experiment, I'm going to fold up my foil into a square, and I happen to have, and you might have other produce, but I have an avocado sitting here with me because I'm sitting in my kitchen, and I'm going to make my boat avocado shape. So I'm just going to fold my foil up around my avocado, and I'm going to make a little bit of a boat. Okay, and I'm going to take my avocado out of my boat because we're not weighing our boat with the avocado in. Okay, now what's going in our boat? Do you remember? It's on your supplies list. Check your supply list, your material list. Alright, so I have a little boat made. So I'm going to set my boat inside my container here, and I'm going to start filling it with pennies. So I'm going to drop my pennies in one at a time, okay? And I have to count them. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so what's happening is I'm almost to the point, and this is where you're going to have to stop counting. So as soon as your boat starts bringing on water, so that first drop of water that gets in your boat, that's when you need to stop counting and stop adding pennies, because that means you're sinking. As soon as that first drop comes into your boat, and I'm gonna show you here because I'm almost there. As soon as you see that drop coming in, I got drops coming in. So now my boat is sinking. So at that point, I need to stop, and I need to get my second piece of aluminum foil, and I'm going to try a different design. So maybe my avocado design, you'll notice that it started sinking kind of where this V was, right? Where my foil went down. So I've got to think about how to fix that problem. I kind of liked the way it started working, but there are some things I think I can do to make this a better boat. So I would get my second piece of foil, and I'm going to start over again. Now, I'm not doing the second boat for you. Now you're going to do 2 boats all for yourself. So when you're recording your answers, remember, you're going to come back to your paper, and you're going to tell me what worked. Hold on, let me focus it. Tell me what worked and what didn't work. What didn't work on mine was the V shape where the water came in. So I would make that note over here. And what did work, I really liked the shape and how deep my boat was. So I'm going to write, I liked that my boat was deep, And what I didn't work was the V on the side of the wall where the water could get in. Now once you've done this twice, my boat number 1 held how many pennies? My winning boat would probably be better and hold more pennies. So when I get back here, I'm going to put my winning boat 1 because why? What did I do differently? Now here's where I get to draw a picture of my boat. So I have, and I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of just a cup shape almost, right? So I would draw a picture of my boat, and I'm going to label that boat 1. If you would like to draw a picture of both boats, you may. In conclusion, what did you find out? Okay, so once I've tested both boats, you probably learned a little bit of something about boat design. So I would like you to kind of think about your 2 boats and what you did differently, and think about what you found out. And then answer your last 3 questions. So, again, if you have any questions or problems, please feel free to get a hold of Ms. Killingsworth or myself. We're always here to help. If you have pictures for your experiment, please remember to post them on Facebook. We'd love to see you guys. Don't forget that we will need a picture of this front page, the back page, and the 3rd page. You're going to have 3 pictures for science, and if possible, send us a picture for Facebook. Alright guys, I hope that helps walk you through the science. If you need anything, give me a shout. Miss you guys. Bye.